How's it going, lazy bruises up? I'm Sixkilla, welcome back to Sekimeiya. Atsuki has just teleported back, or travelled back in time once again with the Sekimeiya, leaving Shiroya, our character at the moment, here, bitterly. Let's see what happens next, shall we? Because he's got this big plan to change the past or whatever. What? And with it, the darkness disappeared as well. I almost fell in place. Before I could crouch to grab the Sekimeiya, the door to the lobby was in front of me. It was hallway A. While the illumination was poor, it wasn't comparable to the mechanical room. Mostly thanks to the light coming from the event room. I teleported. Nothing else could have happened. I took one step forward and confirmed that my legs still worked. Oh. A voice came from over my shoulders. I turned around and saw Atsuki, who'd stiffened. Did I just appear out of nowhere? What? No, that's what happened to me. Wait. Were you just in the mechanical room? Yeah, I touched the Sekimeiya a second ago. I showed up here as soon as you did that. Are we in the past? I teleported you as well. How come that didn't happen the other times? And both of us appeared here? Hey, what the fuck? Where have you two been? Sai emerged from the event room. Behind him was Edina, who looked surprised to see us. Has anything happened? What? You've been gone for over 2 hours. Answer the question. Atsuki appeared wary, perhaps because Sai might have heard what we've been talking about. We walked to the event room. Isla was with them, and she looked a little sad, standing next to the cabinet with its empty interior exposed. The Sekimeiya was probably still in the mechanical room at that moment. We didn't get any sleep last night, so we were really tired and went to the attic. We woke up a few minutes ago. What the fuck? You were sleeping? Why didn't you say anything? Because Katai wouldn't have let us. Excuse me? Was Katai not with you? What? No, he wasn't. We went alone. Where is he then? We haven't seen him either. Not for a long time. He wasn't with us. We thought the three of you were in the attic, which we couldn't enter. No, we were alone. What the fuck then? You don't have any idea where he went? Well, we thought you three were locked up there, so we didn't search everywhere. We even thought that Naomi might be with you since she's still missing. What about Akudo? Where's he? No idea, but I saw him not too long ago. He's been here the whole time. You still have the key to the attic? Yeah. I see. That's good. Hold on. What happened to the Sekimeiya? Why is it not here? We have no idea. We thought one of you might have come down and pick it up and brought it to the attic. The cabinet was locked, and none of us had the key to unlock it. If you two didn't take it out, Katai or Naomi must have another key. It's been gone from the cabinet for a while, but Akudo and I searched this floor and found it in the drawer in the lobby. We put it back here, and about 20 minutes ago we realised it had been taken out again. Like I said, if it was neither of you, it must have been Katai or Naomi. Alright, what time is it? It's 1:19. He showed us his wristwatch. Immediately Atsuki turned to face me. I knew why. At that moment we just walked down the stairs to the mechanical room. We'd been down there for a while, and then we apparently appeared in hallway A during the time we'd been in the security room. Atsuki wanted to change the past, and he had the chance to do so. I doubted that he wanted to be seen by his past self, but making a loud noise would serve as confirmation that the possibility existed. If nothing else, I'd be able to witness it too thanks to travelling with him. However, it was at that moment that a sound reached our ears. As we glanced at the hallway A door, the sound got louder. It didn't take much time for the door to open, revealing Akudo on the other side. Everyone present was surprised at the same time. While Akudo hadn't expected to see me and Atsuki, we hadn't expected to see who he was with either. At his side, Katai, who we'd just been told had been missing for quite a while, timidly stared at us. It seemed that our reaction had been just as he'd expected. Hey, what the fuck have you been doing? Remaining silent, Katai turned to the cabinet. They were found too? They said they were sleeping alone in the attic. Katai, what are you waiting for? Where the fuck have you been? I've been here. I'm sorry? I've been here this whole time. I didn't go anywhere. What? Do you know how long it's been since we saw you? I'm being serious. Do you have any idea how long we've been looking around for you? It's been almost 3 hours, I know. I couldn't have gone anywhere. I just came across Akudo 10 minutes ago. I saw him in hallway C and asked him the same thing. He said he'd been looking for us. We went to the 6th floor to find you, since I'd seen you there earlier, and I didn't know where Editor and Isla were. I looked at Atsuki, who'd been quiet for a while. He was thinking about something, but was it along the lines of everyone showing up meaning that the past couldn't change? It still should have been as simple as going to the lobby. Where's the Sekimeiya? And did I hear that you two were sleeping in the attic? Did I not tell you? Shut up. What the fuck did that even mean? What? You said that it's almost been 3 hours since we saw you. How the fuck do you even know that? What? I answered your question. Almost 3 hours is awfully precise, and it's correct. If you truly were here, and for some reason you didn't see anyone for 3 hours, would your sense of time be good enough to know that? Are you doing this again, trying to blame me for anything you can? That's a good point. You're a fucking liar. You haven't been here for hours. Where the fuck were you? And why are you back? The computer doesn't work and I'm the only one with a watch. How did you accurately say that you've been gone for 3 hours? Hey, did Naomi have a watch? Does anyone remember? The 3 members of the first group shrugged. Atsuki and I knew that there was still a way to use the computer to know the time, but I didn't even get the chance to consider if we should mention it. Did you hear that? Hear what? Didn't the sound just come from the lobby? I didn't hear anything. Nobody had. Probably not even Atsuki, who took no time to exit the room. Our past selves still had to be in the mechanical room. If the past couldn't be changed, that meant that something would always prevent him from doing so. But Katai and Akuto's arrival hadn't conclusively proven it. Confused, the rest of us followed behind him and saw him opening the door to the lobby. But once he did so, he didn't take even a step forward. Instead, he froze in place. As he stopped gripping the knob, he turned his head back to us. Who is this? We dashed to the door. When we looked through it, we immediately realized that wasn't the only question to ask. Isla, stay over there. A single body lay down on the floor over a vast pool of blood. There was no meaning to be found, no smell of blood, no identity of the corpse, but a death that defied reason. Furthermore, the past hadn't changed. Not because of the appearance of a body, but because of Edina's yell, which had spread throughout the crystal floor. The past had changed, sorry. A yell that we hadn't heard while we'd been downstairs. I immediately understood that someone had been killed. I'd gone over to the concept of death many times in my head, so I simply stared at the dreamlike scene before I was pushed aside. Isn't he? The shock had paralyzed everyone, and Katai was the first to snap out of it. He ran toward the body and turned it around, trying not to step on all the blood around it. Wait, I recognize him too. Wasn't he there? So I pointed at the shutter, prompting me to remember that I also knew the man, who was dressed in a police uniform. Yes, that's where I saw him, while we were waiting. Fuck. Atsuki's voice cracked. He wouldn't take his eyes off the body. He's been here at the tower recently. I don't know his name, but he was investigating a possible terrorist attack. Katai crouched and used 2 fingers to verify that there was no pulse. He didn't say it out loud. This is a knife wound. The uniform on his chest had been pierced a single time, but the knife in question wasn't there. A knife? How did this person get in? Look at the blood! This happened minutes ago. He entered the same way Katai left. Huh? You've been missing for the last 3 hours. Just as you reappear, the person shows up dead. This is no coincidence. What the hell are you talking about? How would I have left? I don't know. You remember the Sekimeiya, right? As you said, it's not in the cabinet right now, and you're an excellent candidate to have taken it out. It's possible your man entered the tower after it was locked down, but if you did so too, your disappearance, your knowledge of the time, and this knife you're talking about, would all make sense. I cannot believe what I'm hearing. I've been here the entire time, and I couldn't have unlocked the cabinet. Enraged, Katai pulled out the man's shirt and uncovered his waist. Yeah, look at this. This is why I thought it must have been a knife. It was his own. He still has his baton, but his knife is gone. I personally saw that he had a knife right here a few days ago. He continued examining his clothes and pockets. Oh, he has a walkie-talkie. Everyone's eyes widened until we saw Katai press every button and showing us its blank display. It's not working? Let me see. Katai gave Akuto the device. After fiddling with it for a while, he noticed what was wrong. There's a battery missing, and the cover isn't properly attached. There's also a crack on the bottom, look. These work with normal batteries? Apparently. And this cover can be manually removed. Maybe they failed to break it by force and removed the battery instead. Are there batteries like these anywhere? No, I really don't think so. He left the device on the floor. So the culprit must have done this to prevent us from talking to people outside once again. I have to assume that you have still not found Naomi. So instead of blaming me, consider that it's very possible this person has been here since we got trapped. And we didn't find him, just like we couldn't find Naomi. Okay, then you killed him. Don't say stuff like that. I didn't do this. Then who did? Seems like it could have been anyone, but your story is by far the most questionable one. Do you really have to keep listening to this Naomi boogeyman shtick? Stop. Akudo, is this what you said earlier true? That you found Katai 10 minutes before coming to the event room? Yes. I don't know if it really was 10 minutes though. What time is it right now? 1:23. It's unlikely Katai did this then. 6 minutes ago. This hadn't happened yet. Is that so? You two were talking in hallway A. Did you look at the lobby? I recall the door was shut. We did. He's right. At 1:17 we walked down to the mechanical room, which meant that the man had died while we'd been under him. If you're not lying, then forget what I said. Everyone has an alibi unless 2 or more people did it. You two were together, Katai and Akudo were together, and me, Editor, and Isla were together. We looked past the door where Editor was crouching next to Isla, comforting her from the side she hadn't seen. Despite that, she was burying her face in her arms. A dour mood had overtaken the entire group. I wasn't sure if it was because they'd been exposed to death or because they feared the killer. Atsuki's demeanor had changed the least, probably because it didn't have too far to go anyway. Regardless, I had to put on the same appearance, and it came naturally after the previous 2 weeks. The death of that man meant nothing to me, and I was only a little intrigued. I'd always known that I'd react like that, and while I knew I couldn't show it, I didn't feel it was necessarily problematic as long as nobody found out. Why doesn't she care? So it's actually Naomi. That's weird. Is Shiroya like some kind of psychotic serial killer? I have no idea how this person entered the tower. It was possible that he was here from the beginning, or there could actually be a secret way in. It wouldn't surprise me given the track record this place has. However, this man is a police officer, so whoever the culprit is might have killed him just because of that. I'm not sure how they took his knife or how he didn't hear a fight. In fact, I have no clue what happened. None of us have blood in our clothes, which I suppose doesn't mean anything since it seemed like much blood had sprayed out. But I'll remind you again that the Sekimeiya was hidden a while ago. All of us go back to having no alibi when everyone is able to go to the past. Are you joking? You think one of us will go to the past and kill this man? Well, you said Naomi still has a set of keys identical to yours. Whether or not that's true, we know of someone who does for sure. Multiple pairs of eyes face me. I have it. We didn't hide the Sekimeiya though. And if we had, we wouldn't have needed it to do this because we're the ones who saw this hall empty minutes ago. That's right, which forces me to point out the topic that you were discussing in hallway A. I touched the Sekimeiya a second ago. Didn't those words come out of your mouth? They did, so you lied. You didn't see the lobby before, I heard you, since you appeared there in the future. You're right, but we did see it before touching the Sekimeiya. It doesn't invalidate what we said. You're admitting it, good. Is this travel yet to happen? I think it must have just happened. I don't know if anything went differently this time, but we found the Sekimeiya in the mechanical room, so whoever took it, hid it there. Below us, and you appeared in the hallway. I'm confused. You found the Sekimeiya? And I don't get how you got to that conclusion, Sai. Atsuki appeared there from the future. So he's the only one who could have been able to look at the lobby before you saw them, right? No, both of... He stopped himself when he realized he'd made a mistake. His pause was what made Atsuki and me notice it. Oh, you know exactly what happened, don't you? You overheard our conversation when we said we travelled together. Akudo thought only I had appeared in the hallway, but you knew both of us did. I touched the Sekimeiya, which made both of us travel at the same time. And you were about to say no, both of them travelled. However, given the knowledge of the Sekimeiya you should have, that shouldn't be possible. After touching it, the Sekimeiya would power off, and it would take a while before anyone could activate it again. Does that mean that you knew that that was possible? You haven't explained much about what you did during the time you were in the attic. What are you talking about? I was going to say that both of you travelled together because it's what you two said. I stopped myself when I realised that Akudo was right. It didn't make sense. No, I don't think so. Sai shook his head, disregarding Atsuki's accusation. Then he walked to the mechanical room. So you two travelled recently, right? Should we just ignore the fact that you avoid telling us the location of the Sekimeiya? If we're to believe you didn't hide it? He didn't wait for an answer before he began to descend the staircase. The door had been left slightly open, by the two of us so that the darkness below was at least slightly alleviated. Atsuki shared dubious looks with the others at sidestepping the issue. But there was no choice except waiting for him to return. You don't think he might have wanted to use the Sekimeiya, right? Atsuki walked to the door, worried about Sai's intentions, but he stopped himself shortly after a couple of steps. I was right, they're lying. What? We aren't. Where's the Sekimeiya supposed to be then? It was behind a pile of chairs. Incorrect, there was nothing down there. Are you sure? You're all free to go see by yourselves. I knew that couldn't be true. We'd most likely arrived at the lobby before we disappeared from the mechanical room, so the Sekimeiya saw it to be there. If Sai was so blatantly lying, had he found a way to frame us? Can you open that hip pack? This, sure. Do you think I have it? I'm being serious. I didn't find it, but it's possible I missed it. Go look. Sai didn't have the Sekimeiya on himself, so Atsuki accepted his suggestion and gestured at me to stay put. Everyone silently stood in anticipation next to the still expanding pool of blood. Nothing, right? Yeah, it's not there. You should have trusted me. You felt like changing your version of events now. No, we already see what happened. The Sekimeiya should still be there. What, did it disappear then? Guess it wouldn't be that ridiculous. So I managed to switch roles as soon as he'd been on the defensive, but it didn't seem he was bothering Atsuki much. Did he think that the past had been changed, and that was what was happening as a result? It didn't make a lot of sense to me. What do you all think? It's not a good look to be caught lying like this, is it? Don't you think if we wanted to lie, we would have said that we found the Sekimeiya somewhere where it could have been taken? And that's always too ineffective of an excuse. The police would either had a way to be not found for hours, or he had some way to enter the building, and he... Atsuki blinked several times, almost like he was fighting back tears. Someone killed him, and it's not easy for any of us to have done it. Frankly, the Sekimeiya isn't where it should be. Added to the fact that Naomi hasn't been found, you can't possibly think we did this, right? You didn't? There's no way. I think Naomi's the first person to suspect. Not only has she managed to remain hidden, she also might have the same keys that we have. There are no cameras here, but we don't know if they're recording in the first place. You said you didn't inspect the whole building because you thought we were in the attic, right? Well, we have to be missing something that the culprit is aware of. Could there be a place we're ignoring? It's impossible. If not, then one of you must have done this. Naomi's disappearance should have been enough proof that we're missing something there. We have to find her, or whoever else is here. It's almost guaranteed that this man was with us since this morning, and we didn't find him. I think that's much more likely than some hidden passage. If it's neither of those, there's still an answer with the Sekimeiya. This policeman could have come from the future if he touched the Sekimeiya after 9 o'clock. And Naomi could have left the tower by going far into the past. We found the Sekimeiya in the attic, and don't know where it is now. We'll look everywhere. Not only could people still be hiding, but the Sekimeiya has to be somewhere too. I can't imagine the real culprit doesn't know where. Go ahead and find Naomi for us. It's certainly possible someone's on this floor. Don't move from here. Okay. He began by looking in the storeroom, and then in the room in front. He probably didn't know about the fact that some cabinets could be opened up. Is he doing this by himself? Does he not trust us? From hallway C, 6 pairs of eyes stared at him, moving from room to room. He took a while in each one. Did you hear that? What? No? I glanced at Sai and discerned that he was definitely still suspecting Atsuki of something. Atsuki exited from the furthest away crystal room and turned to us without saying anything. He entered the security room. What the fuck is he doing? You think he's taking advantage of this to do something? Yes. I felt like I was watching everything unfold from the sidelines, oblivious as to what was really happening. For some reason, Atsuki hadn't revealed that we'd powered on the computer, while he told me that he would. When he left the security room, he looked at us again, finally addressed us. Stay there. I'll look at the mechanical room again. He disappeared from our sight. Soon, we began to hear the same sound of doors opening coming from hallway B. Arcado and Sai went to look while the rest of us waited behind. When he returned, it didn't seem like he found anything. There's nobody here. I didn't find the Sekimeiya, or any potential hiding spot that we don't know of. If Naomi's here, she's somehow above us. Are you sure you were thorough? Do you know some cabinets have compartments inside? The Sekimeiya could be there. Yes, I looked at all of them. Even the ones with temperature regulation. Did you make sure to close them? Those two, yeah. It took me a bit to figure out how to open them. Before moving on, Atsuki looked in both bathrooms. Finally, he grabbed the elevator's handle. The door opened, revealing the empty elevator. I'll keep it open so it can't be used. Alright, let's go. He started to go up the stairs and I found myself following first again. After passing through the narrow grey door, we stepped back onto the desolate second floor. Atsuki opened both bathroom doors and quickly dismissed them. Nothing. I hated agreeing with Sai without knowing why, but he was right. It was hard not to think that Atsuki's attitude was odd. It was really frustrating. I'd always been good at reading him, but while he walked toward the partitions, I had no comprehension of what his thoughts were. Wait here. Can I do it instead? Huh? Yeah, sure. His nonchalant reaction threw me off, but I opened the door without letting that show. It had been his idea to look through the whole building, which might have been why Sai distrusted him. However, my confusion went beyond that. He'd openly told me about his intentions to change the past, so why did the sensation that he was hiding something still persist when he confided in me? I kept going over it as I opened the drawers and looked behind the computers. Every time I thought that maybe it was all in my head, something else reinforced the opposite. There weren't many places to look at, so I was soon done with the 3 partitions. I didn't find anything. You looked everywhere, right? It hit me that we were still alone. Yes, but did the others not come? I think they stayed on the crystal floor and let us go by ourselves. Really? Yes, and we should continue. We have to find something, be it Naomi or the Sekimeiya. I shrugged lightly before we moved up to the 3rd floor. There, the same process was repeated. He looked at the 2 bathrooms, and I handled the partitions while he waited outside, so that no one crossed the path. Our repeated movements led to the first step on floor 4. Let's see here. It's not possible she's not anywhere. Behind the glass, I started to look through the same places as below, all while wondering whether I'd report a result anyway. I opened the door to the 2nd partition and vanished from Atsuki's field of vision. There were only drawers that I questioned whether to keep checking. Midway through, I decided to push open the door to the last section. I stared inside. I kept doing so for many seconds, gripping the door's handle with my right hand. One of the many thoughts that crossed my mind was if I should move, until I realised that it wasn't up to me. It hadn't been my choice not to move. However, my hand soon let go of the handle and the door was shut again. When it did, I couldn't open it again. I stood next to it for a long time, during which I only focused on my breathing. Eventually, I comprehended that I was still able to move, and I took a step back. Strangely, neither my vision nor my mind seemed to be blurring. I looked at the opaque wall and discerned a few silhouettes belonging to the chairs on the other side. However, I couldn't open the door again, and I didn't want to. I developed an irrational fear of spiders earlier in my life. Whenever I knew a spider was in the room, I'd freeze behind the door, unable to open it. There was the same sensation I felt as I slowly backed away. Weird. Nothing again? I shook my head. If she's in the attic, she won't be able to take the elevator down, but this is very strange. We walked the path to the 5th floor until we reached the staircase. Are you alright? Huh? Yeah. You look zoned out. Are you tired? A bit. It's okay. Fine, but don't stress yourself out. I'll look myself, so wait here. I didn't voice any complaints. I just gave him a tiny nod. Outside, I kept glancing left and right until Atsuki was done. I don't really expect Naomi to be in these, but it all gets weirder every time we move on. Could a secret place that Katai doesn't know about exist? There's no way, right? If the answer is somehow a hidden spot, he must have made use of it as well. One last identical floor remained, which we silently ascended to. I didn't know what emotion I'd been attacked by, but I wanted to see the others, the unknown people that I met that day. I needed them as my temporary shelter, not continually being alone with Atsuki. The 6th floor was empty as well. You have the key, right? I nodded and took the keyring out of my purse. With the right key, I unlocked the door. Atsuki stood in front of the living room and looked at the floor. No recent footprints. It'll be fine if you stay here. If you don't find anyone, I'm going to get very confused. I don't get it. Does Naomi never with us here? How is this possible? I know we've already been here for a long time, but that doesn't make it any less confusing. Where the hell is Sekimeiya also? Let's just go back down. I hope they trust what we tell them. We can't even take the elevator, damn it. We walked down the stairs and left the attic, heading all the way back down. For every floor we descended, the air got hotter, and my head number. Hearing different voices was like emerging from underwater. As my view of hallway C increased, so did the sound. Where the hell are they? I listened intently and frowned. The storeroom? Oh well, I need to go to the bathroom. I'll be back. I feel like he was looking at me strangely, but I didn't have the time to point it out before he turned around. I walked to the open Storeroom. Everyone was inside, but the room didn't look as I remembered it. Look what we found, Tanya. There was a secret wall. What? There you are. Where's Atsuki? He went to the bathroom. I stepped in further. The length of the room had increased, and with every step I took, the temperature lowered. The others were all gathered around another door. What is this place? Also, was that name supposed to refer to me? Tanya, yeah, it's because of Tanzanite. Oh. I suppose it made perfect sense to her. When we were going up, Akido and I heard a sound behind us, and saw that the storeroom wasn't shut. Although nobody was here, however I noticed that a spot on the wall wasn't dusty, which let me uncover this section. What the... Why does this place exist? Tell her, Katai. I don't know. I had no idea it existed. What? How is that possible? I'm aware of how it sounds, but I'm the most surprised out of anyone. Did you search the whole building? Yes. Even though there was nobody here, the door is locked. I grabbed its handle and turned it. Indeed, it wouldn't budge. It has a handle now! Holy shit, what if this door is what separates this timeline from the other one? From this group of them to the other group of them. Maybe this door is a barrier between universes? But we have a handle on this side. I don't know. You saw the door open after Atsuki had closed it. Is that what you mean? So someone opened it before we moved up. That's what we were discussing. This is obviously a spot anyone could have used to hide in, but Sai doesn't believe someone left through it. Rather, he thinks that someone entered through it. Otherwise, the door wouldn't have been left open, and nobody would have left while we were investigating. But Atsuki just finished looking through the whole floor. Exactly. What I think is that the door leads outside. The storeroom now stretches further out than the crystal rooms, and it's a hidden locked door that would explain the policeman's appearance and Naomi's vanishing. Wait, really? If a policeman entered, why did nobody else? Who knows? Maybe the door was briefly unlocked when he entered, or maybe he was behind the plane like Naomi. Nonetheless, it appears the answer really was hidden. A hidden way outside. I'm sure people are in front of the entrance, but I wouldn't bet the entire building is surrounded. It could be possible to enter and leave from this side without ever being seen. Can we not do anything to open it? My perception of our imprisonment has changed drastically. If we could open the door, I might have been able to escape, which I had started to want more than anything. Would you or Atsuki know how to pick this lock? We've knocked and made noise, but there's no way we'll be heard from here, and the gaps aren't thin enough to see or slide anything through them. I don't. Well, you didn't find the Sekimeiya anywhere, right? No. Then it's possible it's not here anymore. Even if this door doesn't lead outside, it's very likely the Sekimeiya was taken away. If we're supposed to trust what Atsuki said, that could be the plan behind the attack. That still doesn't make sense though. I don't think anyone could have taken the Sekimeiya from the mechanical room. Well, this door might lead outside, and Katai keeps assuring us he didn't know about it. Even if he's lying, it must be a secret door that's hard to find. There's grass on the sides of the tower, meaning if this door opened outwardly, it would leave conspicuous marks on the grass and could be noticed. It probably opens inwardly instead. What the fuck is this? There he is. Do you know how to pick a lock? What? No. What we talked about was reiterating to Atsuki. It was reiterated to Atsuki all while he wore an unchanging expression. Did you really not know about this? I promise I didn't. I also don't think this door leads outside. There's no way I wouldn't have ever noticed it. And it makes sense that you didn't know about it if it doesn't lead outside. I'm just speechless. This room is practically unused. I can't believe this existed. Now, a few things make sense at least. As you said, nobody was found, so Naomi must be here have been here at some point. Yes. Yes, I'd like to advise you all on something. I made sure that if this door is opened again, I'll be able to tell. What? How? I'm not telling you that. One of you could potentially manage to open this, so I'd rather not give you any indication of what I've done. We looked at the door curiously, but it was too dim to notice whatever Sai was talking about. I think that's fair. It wouldn't be wise to demand that you tell us. Just trust me. I will know if the door opens. However, it's possible that it won't, and that the plan already finished after the Sekimeiya was brought outside. Let's go to the attic. To the attic? Why? Do you think I'll believe you were walking around for hours and we didn't see you? You either went through this door or were in the attic. He wasn't with us, we know that much. You've said that before, I know. How do you intend to know whether I was there? I wouldn't allow anyone in lightly. No? then how come they spent 3 hours sleeping there? I haven't forgotten about that. In the off chance Naomi's still in the tower, she's up there, being covered by the 3 of you. I want to go see it by myself, and I'm sure Arcado and Edina aren't content with your words alone. Alright, after that, we will all slow down. I can't believe this door exists, but the truth is that Naomi and the Sekimeiya weren't found anywhere. Once this request of yours is fulfilled, we'll stay put somewhere and wait. I agree with that. It's very likely the person who killed the policeman was Naomi, or someone who could enter the tower again. For our safety, we'll have to stay together. That's fine. The elevator was still open, but we couldn't all take it at once. We walked up together, our footsteps clearly conveying our presence. Alright, we need to wrap this one up here, and we actually did it within like 30 minutes. This isn't a long video for once. So that's nice. Interesting. Maybe that door does what is. Maybe both these rooms and these situations exist on 2 planes of existence, and that door is literally what separates us. And the Sekimeiya allows us to travel through that door or something like that. I don't know, just speculation, as we always do. Anyway, I guess we'll find out eventually. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.